Oh, did I tell you, Milton Resnick and Franz Klein are organizing a group show next month.
Elaine!
Milton wants the idea of the show to be based on equal status, just all artists and no bullshit.
Is that what he said?
Those are his exact words. Seems they found a vacant department store on 9th and Broadway scheduled to be demolished.
Sounds kind of ramshackle to me.
Well, it's not like the Uptown galleries, like Peggy Guggenheim's.
Oh, for crying out loud, Elaine. This isn't your first time modeling. Can't you keep still?
I am still as a corpse, Bill.
Your lips are still moving.
Are you painting my mouth?
Not at the moment. I actually affixed a cutout of a woman's smile from a magazine to where your mouth would be.
Is that your way of shutting me up?
I'm not sure what it is for yet. I like it, though.
Well, if you're not painting my lips, then it's okay if they're moving.
You win, Elaine, as usual. No wonder this painting is taking forever.
Anyway, who needs Peggy Guggenheim if we downtown artists can organize our own show? It will be the first self-curated group show in New York. Maybe the whole world. I'm not sure about Paris.
I suppose they will want me to show there?
Not just show, darling. They want you to head the selection committee.
Now it really sounds ramshackle.
Don't poo-poo it, please. This show could be my big break. I mean, for you, it may not be such a big deal. Your work has already been recognized. It hung in the MoMA, even. My little pictures are struggling to be seen. Of course, the fact that I'm a woman might have something to do with it.
Oh, going to play that card, are you?
It's the truth, Bill. Grace Hardigan is selling her paintings under the alias George Hardigan, hoping they'll sell better.
Have they?
Well, not that I know of. She's probably a better artist as a woman than as a man. But I do believe this show could be our chance as women artists to finally get recognized. Is it so wrong that I want my art to be reviewed by the critics? Why couldn't one of my pictures be as famous as yours someday?
Careful what you wish for, my dear. Fame is a double-edged sword. Why do you think I can't finish a painting? At least you still have the freedom of anonymity to experiment and to make mistakes. Someday you will look back on this time as the good old days, when nobody really seemed to pay much attention to us.
I seriously doubt it. It should have been you featured in Life magazine, not Pollock. But Lee does everything she can to push her husband ahead of you, including brown-nosing Greenberg.
Well, at least she's not fucking him like you are Rosenberg.
Whatever good it does me. Well, I'm not going to stand for it any longer. You deserve to be feted for your work, and so do I.
Do you know there are some critics who have complained about my paintings that they were unable to discern the inside from the outside, or tell what was in front from what was in back?
That doesn't surprise me.
For them, it's always been something versus nothing, and that nothing, which until then was always recognized as a particular something, and as something particular. But they had the innocent idea that the something existed in spite of and not because of nothing. Yet I don't blame them. I can't seem to discern between the inside and the outside either.
Well, that's because it's both at the same time. It transcends duality.
For me to be inside and outside at the same time is to be in an unheated studio with broken windows in the winter, or taking a nap on somebody's porch in the summer.
To the lifestyle of a starving artist.
Cheers. Speaking of starving, do you feel like making supper tonight, dear?
Sure, if you promise to cook tomorrow night, darling.
You know what we need, Mrs. DeKooning?
What, Mr. DeKooning?
What we need is a wife.
What's going on, Pollock?
Painting in my head.
I've been staring at it for weeks. When are you going to paint?
Painting in my head.
Well, follow that inspiration onto the canvas.
I'm actually trying to quiet my mind so I can let something new come through. Can't be preconceived in any way. The mind has to be free, and it ain't easy to silence that critical voice in my head now that I'm sober. Booze used to do that for me.
So you're blaming being blocked on not being drunk?
I don't know, Lee. I don't have any control over it. I can barely manage my day.
But you are managing, Jackson, and I really appreciate it. Your drinking was destroying you and your career and us.
You booze, you lose. I was making bad choices.
You chose sobriety in the end, and that's all that matters.
I chose you.
And I chose you. Now get to work and let the genius come through.
Get the fuck out.
Oh, wait. I came in here to talk to you about something. What was it? Oh yeah. Milton and Franz are putting on a group show on 9th Street, and they invited you and I to be in it.
Do I even want to be in it?
I'm excited. It'll be a good warm-up for my solo show at Betty Parsons in the fall.
Well, I'm glad you're finally going to show me your work, Lee. It's about time the rest of the world gets to see what I see.
I don't know. All my work keeps going like a pendulum. It seems to always swing back to something I was involved with earlier. Or it moves between horizontality and verticality. I can't seem to get a grasp on it.
You're doing some of your best work, babe. It has a freshness and a bigness that you didn't get before. I think you'll have a handsome show.
Thank you for persuading Betty on my behalf.
Took some doing. Says she doesn't believe in having a husband and wife in the same gallery, but I told her we shouldn't be with the same psychoanalyst either.
I can't believe it's finally going to happen after all these years.
Yeah, years wasted on me. I'm sorry to put you through that, babe.
It's okay as long as you don't waste the momentum that you've made recently with that Life magazine spread. Busted my ass to get you here.
I didn't ask for it, a fucking documentary, and I just want to be able to sell my paintings.
Maybe this one could work for the 9th Street show.
I'll paint a new one for it if I do it. I just don't know if I even want to be in a group show. I sold exactly one picture at my solo show, and that was for half the price to a friend of Betty's. Everyone else only came to see me and all the crazy shit I'd do next.
Whose fault is that?
I don't want to be the spectacle that sells art, Lee. I want it to be the art that they come for.
It doesn't matter why they come, as long as they come. You can't help it if you're a colorful character.
What colorful are my paintings?
Come on, Pollock. It's an important show for a lot of us.
Roscoe Thorne.
No, that's because he only does solo shows now. He doesn't like the juxtaposition of his work with other artists. What do you say?
I'll think about it.
That would be wonderful, Jackson. I mean, shouldn't the greatest living American artist be included?
The greatest living American artist. It's more of a noose than anything else. I mean, am I really good, Lee? Maybe will I even be remembered when I'm gone?
Of course you will, Pollock. You're a phenomenon like no other.
Okay. Get the fuck out, okay? Let me paint.
So most abstract paintings are bad, not because they're abstract, but because they're bad paintings. The only legitimate abstract expressionism is when a painting is based on hard reality and then departs from that. It can't just originate from one's imagination.
But abstract expressionism, it's disastrous to name ourselves. As soon as the word abstract comes into painting, it ceases to be what it is.
Abstract expressionism is something to call non-objective art. When art is new, we struggle to give it a name. I think it was Robert Coates who first coined the phrase with regard to American paintings a couple of years ago.
But it's just a label that people slap on our pictures to give them a sense that they understand them. Especially the critics. No offense, Clem.
None taken.
Actually, many of the so-called abstract expressionists are really abstract impressionists who've revived the dead style of impressionism. We keep the impressionistic manner of looking at a scene, but leave out the scene.
I am tired of talking about so-called abstract art. What I want to know is, who has read the latest Raymond Chandler trilogy? Professor Bingo's Snuff. Elaine and I have.
I didn't find it as compelling as his earlier works. Dashiell's Limit is still my favorite.
You can't compare them. It's like comparing Rothko with Pollock. They each have their own unique strengths. How about I get the next round? Are you sure you don't want anything, Pollock?
No, I'm good.
Club soda?
I'm good.
Still on the wagon, Daddy-O? Club soda?
Yep.
Would you say sobriety has affected your work?
Painting is no problem. The problem is what you do when you're not painting.
Since the Life magazine article, there's been a great deal of controversy and remarks made regarding your method, Pollock. Some wisecrackers even ask why your studio floor looks the same as your pictures.
What can I say? New needs new techniques, and as a modern artist, we have found new ways of making our statements. Eventually, the strangeness will wear off, and I think we'll discover the deeper meanings of modern art.
So I suppose every time you're approached by a layman, they ask you, how should they look at Pollock painting or modern art in general?
I think it should be enjoyed just as much as music is enjoyed. After a while, you may like it or you may not, but it doesn't have to be so serious.
But a person isn't born to like good music, right? They have to listen to it repeatedly and gradually develop a liking for it. If modern painting works the same way, a person would have to subject himself to it over a period of time in order to be able to appreciate it as well. Where's the water?
Did you fellas hear about the self-curated show we're putting together over on 9th Street?
Yeah, Lee mentioned it.
We're hoping you'll be a part of it, Pollock.
I don't know. Lee wants me to, but I kind of want it to be her thing, you know? She has her first solo show coming up in a few months. This could be a good promotion for her, and I don't want to overshadow that.
Oh, really? I didn't know Lee has a solo show. Good for her.
But just consider it, Daddy-O, because having Jack the Dripper in the show will be a good promotion for everyone, including our wives.
I may not be the draw you think I am. Bill, I only sold one whopping picture at my last show.
Pollock, when I first saw the mural you painted for Peggy Guggenheim's foyer, I took one look at it and I thought, now that's great art. And I knew that you were the greatest painter this country had ever produced.
Of course, Bill isn't from this country, being a Dutchman.
Like Van Gogh.
In fact, Franz and Milton have asked him to head the selection committee.
I thought you said it was self-curated.
Yes, but there still has to be a selection process. We can't just let any Tom, Dick, or Harry show their work there. We want to feature those artists who are part of our downtown scene, whose aesthetic of painting is good.
And how will you decide what makes it good?
I don't know, Pollock. Enlighten us. What makes a painting good?
Well, if I know. I approach painting in the same sense as I approach a drawing. That is, it's direct. Painting, I think today, the more immediate, the more direct, the greater the possibilities of making a direct, of making a statement.
So if I may, when I review a piece, I avoid purely speculative assertions about the content of the painting and focus on the details. Only then can I make judgments about the quality of a work of art and its relationship to the development of modern art.
Yes, I must certainly consider what the aesthetics are that it is to be judged by. Is it about being aesthetically pleasing to the eye? The aesthetics of painting are always in a state of development parallel to the development of painting itself, but I agree with Pollock. It doesn't have to be so serious.
So when's the show?
Next month. And we're asking each artist to limit the size of their picture so there'll be room enough for everyone.
You're correcting that at me?
Not particularly.
You do whatever you want, Eddie. We don't care how big it is, as long as you are in the show.
Yeah. Bigger the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Let me think about it.
Don't think too hard, Pollock. We need to know sooner than later. And of course, we want Lee to submit, along with all the other women artists.
I was just speaking with Franz, Milton, and Leo, and they all expressed concerns about including women artists in the show. They're afraid that the mainstream critics won't take it seriously.
Are you kidding me? What did you tell them?
Nothing yet. I don't know. Maybe they're right.
This is unbelievable. I'm the one who got you on that selection committee to begin with, and now I may not be able to be in the show.
It is not up to me, dear.
Oh, the hell it's not. You are going to insist that women, particularly your wife, will show alongside the men. Or else I will organize a huge protest in front of the gallery with all the gals. Do you hear me?
I will see what I can do, dear.
Bill, this means the world to me, and I'm sure the other women feel the same way. If I could sell this picture at the show and finally make a living doing this. Or could you imagine if one day I could hang in the MoMA like yours alongside all the European masters? Well, that would just be a dream come true. To be honest, dear, I don't know how much longer I can survive this lifestyle of the starving artist.
The trouble with being poor is that it takes up all your time. You waste the whole day trying to find someone to borrow the rent money from when you could have been using the time to paint.
We're 3 months behind in rent, Bill.
Things could be worse, Elaine. We could be living in a high-rise building uptown, which would be horrible to have to walk by the doorman every day. And we'd have to get dressed up whenever we walk outside.
So instead, we live in a 5th floor walk-up in Greenwich Village with no heat.
But you can't beat the neighborhood.
I just worry about being evicted again.
Don't fret, my dear. It gives you wrinkles. Besides, something always happens.
From your mouth to God's ears. I moved in and out of 8 different studios last year. Sometimes I feel like I'm one of those bums who sleeps beneath our stoop. No offense to them. They are such lost souls, but gentle, marvelous, sad people.
You should paint their portraits one day.
Why can't we just move out to the Hamptons like the Pollocks did?
We can't afford to. Maybe next summer.
This is why you need to sell more pictures, darling.
Well, you could always get a job, dear.
Oh, I know you thought when we got married I'd give up painting and get a job to support you.
That was obviously a miscalculation on my part.
Well, I never asked you to get a job, so don't ask me. I want to paint just as much as you do, and I'm willing to starve alongside you if I have to. Besides, yeah, you're right. Something always happens. After all, you are the godfather of abstract expressionism.
Don't call me that. It makes me feel so old. I'm afraid I'm becoming a senile, old, hairy with a brush who is no longer relevant to the next generation. The truth is, you have to change to stay the same. Otherwise, as modern artists, we're completely dispensable and will be replaced. The way the surrealists were replaced, and the cubists before them, and in my case, by you so-called second-generation painters who want to usurp us.
No, we don't, Bill. We want to learn from you and be inspired by you. Despite the fact that you refuse to accept us women into your boys' club.
Don't let that stop you, Elaine. You don't need our permission to take your rightful place as the next generation. It is a revolutionary act to subjugate the masters, to almost erase what came before them. In my case, literally. Did I tell you that Robert Rauschenberg recently asked me for one of my drawings so that he could erase it?
What? Erase it?
Yeah, you heard right. It's part of what he calls his Neo-Dada period that looks like, to me, to be a subversive appropriation of another artist's work as a rejection of those that came before him.
Well, what did you tell him?
I told him I would give him one of my paintings, which in my estimation would be the most difficult to erase, done in pencil, charcoal, oil, and crayon.
Sounds crazy to me.
No more crazy than painting a figure over and over, only to scrape it away and begin painting it all over again.
You're right. I've seen you paint hundreds of versions of the same picture, and even though it appears to be a finished masterpiece to me, you destroy it, only to start again.
It's called painting, Elaine. It's not easy. Look over there. Look. Now shield your eyes so only the doorknob is visible. Now that you've isolated it, how can you determine what it is? I'm trying to paint a woman with no reference to anything and yet make her believable, which is a difficult task I've set for myself.
So it's okay for women to be included as the subjects, but not as artists?
Oh.
My God. Well, you look at that. That's kind of grotesque, isn't it?
Well, I like the grotesque. It's more joyous. Beauty becomes petulant to me.
Are you working out your anger at your mother, or is it just all women in general?
I don't think it's angry. It's more detached, if anything.
I can hear it now. People will figure since I was the model, I must be just as hideous in person. No one will talk about the painting. They'll all be too busy talking about the woman.
You don't like it?
No, darling. Au contraire. That's some of your best work. I swear, I'm gonna hide this one before you get the chance to destroy it.
We each have our own method to our madness, dear.
No one is criticizing you, dear. All I'm saying is it would be nice if we could make a living at it.
I don't paint to live. I live to paint.
So most of the paintings in here from Pollock's solo show last year at Betty Parsons. It was his best show to date. Except for the moment when he came upon Elaine DeKooning, who said the show was no good, except for one painting. The only weak picture in the show. The one Pollock painted on glass when they were working on the documentary. And she said it right in front of Lee, which couldn't have pleased her. But who cares? The show was so good. It's unbelievable.
I agree. Pollock's show opened up when my own inventiveness could take off from. I was overwhelmed and puzzled. It was as if I suddenly went to Lisbon and knew no Portuguese, but had read enough and had a passionate interest in Lisbon and was eager to live there. I mean, I wanted to live in this land and I had to live there, but I didn't know the language.
Well, take a look again. See what it does to you this time. I have some business to attend to with Lee, but don't touch anything. Pollock doesn't usually allow people in here.
I'm honored.
And remember, when I introduce you to him, you're my girlfriend, all right? I won't put up with any shenanigans between the two of you.
What kind of a girl do you think I am?
That's not you that I'm worried about.
Oh, my. How long have you been standing there?
How long have you been dancing now?
Long enough to soak up some of your genius, hopefully.
Don't hold your breath.
Your pictures are utterly fantabulous.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
You may, but I can't promise you an answer.
Why do you paint on the floor instead of a wall?
On the floor, I am more at ease. I feel nearer, more part of the painting, since I can walk around it, work from all sides, and literally be in the painting.
But isn't there more of a possibility of accidentally splattering?
With experience, I'm able to control the flow of the paint to a greater extent, and I don't use the accident because I deny the accident. I believe it was Freud who said there's no such thing as an accident.
These are spectacular. I feel as though I've been blinded, as if you put me in the center ring of Madison Square Garden, and it's so new and so appealing, and yet so puzzling and powerful and beautiful, and at the same time utterly bewildering.
What can I say? I don't know what I'm doing. The painter locks himself out of his own studio and then has to break in like a thief. What about you? Tom tells me you're a painter too.
Aspiring, but nothing compared to you.
Never compare yourself to others.
I'm still learning.
So am I. In fact, the paintings teach me as I go. I have no fears about making changes or destroying the image because the painting has a life of its own. You can't get in the way of that.
Oh, see, you've met.
You know you're not supposed to be back here, Greenberg.
I know. I told Helen.
Well, I don't mind. She's young and pretty. You, on the other hand, are a hard-boiled critic of the male persuasion.
You see, my dear, it has become apparent that art can have a startling impact without really being or saying anything startling new. The character itself of being startling, spectacular, or upsetting has become conventionalized, part of safe good taste. But Pollock has broken through all that, which is why he is vastly superior to all of his contemporaries here in New York. Shall we take my car for dinner?
Sure, why not? Unless you want to take the convertible with the top down.
Can we?
Sure. That's the ticket.
I'm famished. Where are we going for dinner?
Oh, there's a new place in East Hampton I'd like to try. It's my treat. Shall we?
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. I don't think I'll ever look at a painting the same way again.
I'm curious. When did you start to paint like that with your canvas on the floor?
I have to admit, it was your husband who inspired me to try it. And I must say, it really frees me up. I don't even prime the canvas first. I just let the paint seep in.
Does it feel different to you than painting up on it?
Most definitely. No, something takes over and I get lost in it. The painting, as it progresses through my mind and body, determines its own journey while still reflecting my own inner journey. I let the picture lead me. It has a will of its own.
Starting to sound like my husband.
Studying Jackson up close helped me learn, when to stop, when to labor, when to be puzzled, when to be satisfied, when to recognize beautiful or strange or ugly or clumsy, and to be free with what you're making, what comes out of you. He inspires me to be true and produce and transcend. I find if you always stick to one style and what will work, you're never caught off guard, and then some beautiful experiences never happen. I mean, I'm learning to embrace the accident more.
Jackson doesn't believe in accidents.
I know, he told me. But I believe you have to know how to use the accident, how to recognize it, how to control it, so that the whole surface looks felt and born all at once. I considered giving up painting and taking a full-time job at Life for Time magazine, like my sister, Marge. and only paint on my off hours, but the people that walk around those offices are almost frightening. These brisk, alert, sophisticated, vast, thin, groomed, talking this fast, smart chatter. No, I don't know if I could stand it. Besides, I'd probably be too exhausted to paint, since once you work for them, there's an unwritten contract for all your time and energy in a way that doesn't apply to most hourly routine jobs.
I could never give up painting. In fact, I went through a huge blackout period, which lasted almost 3 years, where the canvases would simply build up until they'd get like stone. And it was always just a gray mess. And the image just, it wouldn't emerge, but I stayed with it, and I worked pretty regularly. So that's all I could do.
I so admire you, Lee. Especially all you've done to fight for artists' rights.
I thank you. I appreciate that. My work for the Artists' Union gave me a sense of purpose in the years before I met Jackson. And now all my energy seems to go to him.
Last year, my mother was hospitalized with mono, and I moved in with her on the Upper East Side to aid and comfort her while she was sick. But my mother has one of the greatest wills for exploiting and taking advantage of those close to her. It was exhausting and not fair, and after a few days I couldn't take it anymore. And even though I still feel a little guilty about it, I had to take hold of my own self-preservation and leave her to her own devices. Sometimes you have to put yourself first, Lee.
Hello, Helen.
Elaine, what are you doing here?
Helen invited me for cocktails. Am I early?
No, you're right on time. I thought it would be fun for us gals to get together since our men are colleagues. I figured you two knew each other.
Oh, we know each other, don't we, Lee?
Thank you for hosting me, Helen.
You're leaving.
Yes. Suddenly all the inspiration's been sucked out of the room.
You're gonna want to hear this before you go, Lee. I spoke with Bill, and he told me that the men don't want to include us women in the 9th Street show.
What?
They're afraid if they do, the critics won't take it seriously.
Seriously?
No, I was counting on that show. We cannot let this happen.
I told Bill we would protest if we're excluded. Are you in?
Do you really think our squawking will make a difference? I used to organize rallies for the Artists' Union. We need leverage if we want to make demands.
What kind of leverage do we have on them?
Ever hear of the Greek play, Lysistrata by Aristophanes? We can withhold our secret weapon until they agree to include us.
But that'll be easy with Jackson.
I'll speak to Franz's girlfriend and to Ileana, Leo Castelli's wife, and get them to join the cause. And you, Helen, have the most power to influence the great influencer. If Clem were to fight for us, we're as good as in.
Well, let me say chauvinistic as they come, but I'll see what I can do. Although, I really don't like the idea of withholding sex as a bargaining chip. I enjoy it too much, but perhaps I can use my other charm to persuade him.
And if that doesn't work, try giving him a blowjob. It worked for me with Harold Rosenberg.
Must you be so vulgar? And I thought the point was to withhold sex.
A blowjob isn't sex. It's considered foreplay. Everyone knows that, Lee. Our men are like little boys, acting out their impulses without thinking. It may work for painting, but not in real life. Their mamas raised them to look down on women as inferior and subservient to men, and then we spend our entire marriage dealing with it. They need to grow a pair and not be so threatened by the idea that women are their equals.
Dishes are all finished.
That's quite a supper you whipped up there. What's the occasion? You trying to butter me up?
That was just the first course. Are you ready for dessert?
I have to say, I enjoy how forthright you are with your sexuality. I find it very refreshing.
So, Clem, baby, I wanted to ask you a favor.
If you want me to do that thing to you again, you know, I'd be happy to accommodate.
No, not that.
Then what is it?
Could you put in a good word with me? With Milton Resnick and Franz Klein, there seems to be talk about not including women artists in the 9th Street show.
That what this is all about? You, because if you think that I'll use my influence, you've got another thing coming. I refuse to show any favoritism to taint my integrity as the foremost art critic in New York.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
Can't you at least pretend that you are not with me for your career? I know I'm twice your age, but I don't want to feel used.
I'm not using you, Clem.
No, didn't you just try to seduce me to somehow influence my esteemed colleagues to do something that I personally don't agree with either?
Oh, so you're saying the women artists don't deserve to show their work alongside men?
Women are in a different category, and they should have their own show.
Well, if you believe that, then you're more of an uncouth male chauvinist than I thought you were.
Who do you think you are addressing me like that? You're just a wannabe debutante dabbling in the art world on daddy's dime.
Well, Mr. Greenberg, it looks like you're not getting dessert after all this evening. Or tomorrow evening. Or the next. In fact, is it a no-fly zone until all the men agree to include us in their show?
Suit yourself. If you're not going to put out tonight, I'll find someone who will. Okay, don't think you mean that much to me. And I'm tired of your childish antics anyways. Good night. Good riddance.
Thanks for coming, Daddy-O.
Don't mention it.
So how's it going out there in the Springs?
Well, I finally got the old 8th Street habit of sleeping all day and working all night pretty well licked. So was Lee. We had to, or lose the respect of the neighbors. I can't deny, though, that it's taken me a little while. Although it's marvelous the way that Lee has adjusted herself. She's a native New Yorker, but she's turned into a hell of a good gardener. I'm way behind her in orientation.
Liane is dying to move out there. How are you making ends meet?
Oh, somebody bought one of my pictures when we first moved out there. We lived for a year on that picture and a few clams I dug out of the bay with my toes. Since then, things have been a little easier, but we're still living hand to mouth.
Well, I miss my old drinking buddy. Not many people get me the way you do.
I feel the same, Bill. A real friend is someone you can say a sentence to, and they know 10,000 words behind that sentence.
Too bad our wives don't feel the same way.
Just being overprotective of their husbands.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition. I remember the first time I went to your studio. Everybody said you were so good. But to tell you the truth, your work didn't look so goddamn good to me. But of course, when I got back to my own studio, my work didn't look so goddamn good to me either. Do you want something to drink?
No, I'm good.
Still on the wagon.
Yeah. I have no other choice. I found New York terribly depressing after my last show, but I am coming out of it now. I really hit an all-time low with depression and drinking. New York City can be brutal.
So I guess you won't be moving back into the city anytime soon.
Probably not. Although Alfonso Azorio lent us his townhouse this week, so I could be here to see a new young analyst.
Oh, how's that working out for you?
Psychotherapy is just a bunch of shit, Bill. I'm not sure dredging up the unconscious is good for an artist. It may be better just to leave that Pandora's box alone so it can come through the painting uncorrupted.
I don't ascribe to psychoanalysis. You know, Freud was a coke fiend.
My young analyst is a woman, and she should. My young analyst is a woman, and she suggested I go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings.
What?
Yeah, as if giving up booze wasn't bad enough. I have to sit in a room somewhere and listen to people whine about their fucking problems.
Well, you may have given up booze, but you still have the beauty of a dame to entertain you.
You forget I'm a married man, Bill.
That never stopped you before, Daddy-o. The word from the bird is you played backseat bingo with Peggy Guggenheim.
Didn't hear that from me.
Oh, so what do you think of Clem's baby doll, Helen? She is a tall glass of water, to be sure.
She's got a classy chassis, I'll give her that.
Oh, damn straight she does. She and I have a date with destiny.
I don't know how you do it, Bill. Elaine have lovers, too.
Yes. We both prefer it that way.
Then why get married in the first place?
Because when you meet someone you think you can't live without, you get married.
You don't get jealous. I may have strayed, but I don't think I'd be okay with Lee sleeping with somebody else.
Sometimes, but I deal with it. Elaine rarely gets jealous.
I guess you get the best of both worlds.
And still, I am not satisfied.
Oh, so you said there was something you wanted to talk to me about.
Yes. I wanted to discuss the upcoming show on 9th Street. Have you made your decision yet?
I talked to Lee, and she really wants me to do it. But on one condition, that she and the rest of the women are included in the show.
I can say with certainty that Resnick and Klein will agree to include the women if it's a question of whether Pollock participates or not.
All right. I'll do it if that's what it takes to include the ladies. Just make sure you hang our pictures in the back and feature the up-and-comers, like our wives.
Oh, this is great news, Daddy-o. A win-win victory, both in business and in bed.
I'm so glad the club has open evenings for non-members. I've been wanting to come here ever since I heard about it from Clem. You remember, aren't you, Elaine?
Yes, but it's just me and Joan Mitchell representing the fairer sex. And by fairer, I mean, if women ran the artists' club, we would never discriminate. The membership policy would be all-inclusive, regardless of gender, race, or even sexual orientation.
Please! I'm so glad you changed your mind and decided to come out tonight.
I really don't go out much anymore, least of all to places like this. But Jackson insisted, and I only accompany him on nights when he's sober.
Hello, Lee.
Hello, Elaine. So how are plans for the 9th Street show coming along?
Fine and dandy, now that the men have agreed to include us. My only concern is whether our paintings will even get noticed. I mean, there are more than 60 male artists and just 11 of us females. It doesn't seem fair. How can we compete?
It's not a competition.
The hell it isn't. It's always been one between men and women. Ever since the Stone Age, when men were dragging us around by our hair. Men think they are so superior to women, in all professions, including the arts. Where are all the great women artists of history?
That's why you trashed Jackson's last show, isn't it? You were jealous of his success as a man.
Are you still holding a grudge about that? I'm sorry, Lee. I didn't mean to ruffle any feathers. It was just my little old opinion. And you know what they say about opinions.
You don't know how tough it's been for him with the pressure of his sudden fame.
Oh. I feel so bad for him. We should all have such troubles.
I know it sounds silly, but I want to be famous someday.
Is that why you're with Clem?
No. How dare you insinuate that?
Well, he is old enough to be your daddy.
Well, Bill is 14 years your senior, Elaine, and no one gives you a hard time about it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is some kind of a father figure thing. I love how he encourages me to let myself go when I paint and to try everything and not hold anything back.
Where'd you two meet?
At a Bennington College alumni show. I randomly invited him and was shocked when he showed up. And well, we've been together ever since. Although it has not been easy. One could say what a dreadful error it is to jump into anything prematurely. We are constantly breaking up, going back, fighting, loving, misunderstanding, understanding. I am just beginning to grasp the neurotic corners of Clem's personality, which I might have recognized but not understood as well months ago. Even though, sometimes he makes me unhappy, unsettled, disturbed as hell, but despite his neurosis, he is a fine person.
And it's okay to admit you're sleeping with him to further your career, Helen. I've had sex with a number of men over the years, purely for business. I mean, what else does a woman have to level the playing field?
Don't you think that is ultimately demeaning to women? I mean, we want men to respect us for our art, not our ass.
Excuse me for living. But we women artists need to do whatever it takes to make our art get seen in a male-dominated world.
But if we want them to treat us as equals, we have to be their equals as artists.
And we are their equals. Somebody just has to tell them that.
So, Elaine, does Bill know about your checkered past?
Oh, sure. We have an open marriage.
Really?
Don't get any ideas, Helen. That would be awkward, to say the least.
No, not me. That's not my style. But I'm still fascinated by something as bohemian as an open marriage with no traditional boundaries or limitations.
Well, it still has its challenges. Last year we were separated for a bit because of it, but since we've reconciled. Yet, throughout our marriage, we've always given each other the freedom to sleep with other people. In fact, sometimes I actually did it for Bill. Like I told you, I gave Harold Rosenberg a really good blowjob so that he'd give Bill a really good review.
And to sway his opinion away from my husband and towards your own.
You know what they say, Lee. All is fair in love and war.
You have the heart of a tiger.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
I didn't come here to fight. I have better things to do with my time.
Oh, come on, Lee. don't get your panties in a bunch.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, okay? I don't want to fight either. Although, I will do whatever it takes to make sure my husband and I are the hits of the show.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Because I plan to win big.
I didn't know it was a contest.
Don't kid yourself, Lee. Life is contest. That's why I'm with Bill, and Helen is with Clem, and you are with Pollock.
Maybe that's true for you. But I was the one who introduced Jackson to Bill and Franz and Clem and everyone else. I exposed him to the whole downtown scene. Sometimes I think if it weren't for me, there would be no Jackson Pollock. But do I get any credit? No, because I'm a woman. Clem gets all the credit, writing endlessly about Pollock, and he never ever writes about me.
Me neither. And I'm his girlfriend.
Which is precisely why he doesn't. Even though Bill has never treated me as his equal, I'm forever grateful for my life with him. He is truly my greatest influence. I was still just a girl when we met, with fanciful ideas of what makes great art. I was painting women with their eyes reaching to the sky, with blood running down their arms from the Spanish Civil War. Bill said if I was going to study with him, it was better to focus on the still life first, so that teacher and student can both see the same objects. In this case, a coffee pot, a large yellow shell, a yellow cup, an old blue cotton shirt, and an army blanket. I spent 3 months trying to paint that damn still life. Well, Bill taught me about spatial relationships and the tension created between objects. Listening to him, it was as if you'd never seen a cup before. Bill would talk about 2 inches in a way that was so profound, I'd have to go lie down. I'd get brain tired.
You are both so blessed to be with such great masters.
You're so young and naive, Helen. You have no idea of the sacrifices I've made, even if it means putting my own career on hold. I do whatever it takes to hold Jackson's hand through his latest crisis, while also handling the entire business side of it all by myself. But my mother was my role model. She ran the family store while my father sat on his tush and studied the Talmud all day. You know the old saying, behind every great man, there's an even greater woman. That's because we have to hold them up when they're too drunk to stand.
But you still enjoy the perks of being Mrs. Jackson Pollock. I hear congratulations are in order for your first solo show at Betty Parsons.
And how did you hear that?
From Pollock. I heard he had to pull a few strings to get you in there.
At least he did. How many solo shows has Bill set up for you?
I'm also having my first solo show in the fall at the Tabornaghi Gallery.
Really? Well, I hope it doesn't steal the thunder away from Lee's show.
It's not a competition, Elaine. We women need to stick together if we're ever going to break the men's grip on this world.
I can't say I don't agree with you, Helen. Equal rights for women has been a long time coming. We need a movement, like the suffragettes. Wouldn't you agree, Lee? You're the activist among us.
Even though I've been an advocate for artists' rights for many years, I'm not so sure I do agree with you, Elaine. Not to say that a woman is in any way less than a man or should be subservient to him, or even that our work should suffer less than a man's. It's just the idea of joining a feminist movement. It doesn't sit right with me.
But we already are, by sheer design of our chosen career. Deep down, the men who came before us are afraid of us. And that's because we are superior to them, and that women can be creative in total isolation. Most of us female artists, we do original work without any response to speak of. Maybe We're used to the lack of feedback. Maybe we're tougher.
I know. Clem hasn't said a word to me about any of my paintings.
Sometimes you're better off that way. It was years before Pollock gave me any criticism.
Well, consider yourselves both fortunate. From the beginning, Bill has been very vocal about his distaste for my painting, especially since I was his apprentice. He used to make me destroy them and start over like he does.
I don't care what you say. You are both very lucky to be with two such powerful pillars of modern art.
Wait until you start showing your work, Helen. You'll see. The men, like your boyfriend, Mr. Greenberg, will peer at your picture with an air of superiority and then declare, it's a good painting. For
For a woman. How's it going, Jackson?
It's done.
I'm always amazed how you know when you're finished with a painting. I always have trouble stopping.
How do you know when you're finished making love?
You usually roll off me and fall asleep.
Very funny. I put everything I had into it, Lee.
I like the new direction you're going with this, Pollock. Completely abandon the dripping for something new. Breaks through all expectations that have been placed on you.
So you like it?
Of course. I've never been able to understand the artist whose image never changes. When I paint, I like a canvas to breathe and be alive. Be alive. What's the point? Yes?
Yeah.
And since the limitations are pigment and canvas, it's always, let's see if I can do it. Can I bring through something new? Well, you've done it again, Pollock. You cracked it wide open.
Can't believe the night's finally here. I just hope everything goes smoothly.
I'm sure it will. Leo knows how to handle any issues that may arise.
I do have one little issue.
Already? What is it, my dear?
I know we have an arrangement and everything.
Arrangement?
You know, our open marriage.
You want to change the arrangement?
No.
Because you're the one who encouraged it to begin with.
Yes, but I also know you enjoy your freedom as much as I do, and the perks that come with it.
Perks?
The young women you cavort with.
You're not seriously jealous, are you?
No, of course not. I just want everyone to know we're still married. That's all. You know how these things are. Suddenly everyone's looking at everyone, realizing perhaps they'd all slept with each other at some point. Because we only know a certain amount of people as a subset of society, and we summer together and we winter together and we talk all the same talk. You know, all I'm asking is tonight we attend as a couple. A celebrity couple, if you will. Like Bogey and Bacall.
Whatever pleases you, my dear. This is your night.
This is our night. So let's go together and come home together. Can we do that?
I think I can accommodate your wishes. Just for tonight.
Can you zip me up?
That's what you're wearing to the opening?
Why? What's wrong with it?
He looks like some sort of beatnik.
And what's wrong with that?
If you want to be taken seriously, Helen, you have to dress the part.
Mm-hmm. And is that with cleavage or without?
Just saying, if you want us to attend the show together, you must dress to impress.
So you're suggesting that I change my outfit?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put on some makeup either. Some rouge, to bring out the color in your otherwise pale face. Maybe some high heels instead of those ordinary flats.
High heels hurt. You can wear them if you like them so much. I'm tired of you telling me what to do and disapproving of my every move, like a deranged Bengali.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Like what?
Like an entitled little cunt.
Well, you're just a big bully. And I won't put up with it anymore. Do you hear me?
If you don't like it, you're free to leave me. It's not like we're married or anything.
I would never marry you.
Why would you say something like that?
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
You don't appreciate all that I've done for you? And the introductions that I've made?
I do, Clem. I'm very grateful for you. Please forgive me.
Okay. Apology accepted.
Well, aren't you going to apologize?
For what? I didn't do anything.
Forget it. Look, why don't you make yourself a drink while I go upstairs and change into something more appropriate? How does that sound?
Well, it sounds to me like you're finally starting to make some sense.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to play the game, Helen, if you're to succeed in the field of modern art.
Come on, Pollock, get dressed. We're going to be late.
I'm not going.
What do you mean you're not going?
Am I not speaking English? I'm sitting this one out.
What? Oh, you can't do that.
Just watch me.
But you're going to let everybody down.
I gave them a picture for the show. I've done my part.
Well, what about me? Don't you want to go with me? It's my opening too.
Baby, believe me, if I could just go as your husband, I would. But I can't, and you know that.
Why do you always have to make everything so difficult? Why can't you be more like Bill and just go with the flow?
You're welcome to go with him if you like. You can have a fucking menage a trois with him and Elaine for all I care.
So vulgar.
I'm sorry. You knew that before you married me, just like you know I like to drink.
You mean you're a drunk?
Whatever you say, Lee. Jesus Christ, just stop wasting your time trying to get me to be somebody I'm not.
Why are you doing this, Jackson? Tonight of all nights.
I can't handle the whole thing without at least a few drinks in me. Okay? I'd rather stay home.
Well, if you're not going, then I'm not. It's not worth you losing your sobriety.
Oh, I can't let you miss your own opening, Lee. You'd never let me live that down.
It's your choice. You either go together or stay home together.
Come on, Lee. You go. You want to. I don't. Just you go.
Everything I've done for you, Pollock, you can't do this one thing for me.
All right. Or when you put it like that.
And no drinking.
That's two things.
Promise me, Pollock.
All right, I promise.
Go get dressed and hurry up. We're meeting everyone at the club before the show.
Great. Everyone else will be boozing it up but me.
I won't drink anything either, if that makes you feel any better.
I'm doing this for you, Lee. So really, it doesn't matter.
I love you, boy. Now, please, go get dressed and brush your hair.
I mean, what's left of it.
Some people think that the light of the atomic bomb will change the concept of painting once and for all. The eyes that actually saw the light melted out of sheer ecstasy. For one instant, everyone was the same color. It made angels out of everybody. A truly Christian light, painful but forgiving.
I didn't know you were a Christian, Bill.
I'm neither Christian nor Buddhist. Spiritually, I am wherever my spirit allows me to be.
I'd like to propose a toast to the grand success of the 9th Street show. May we all sell our pictures.
And to Helen, who looks stunning in that dress.
Why, thank you, Bill. Clem helped me pick it out.
Oh, I love this song. Let's dance, Bill.
Come on,
Right.
Clem.
Come on.
Dance with me.
I don't think so.
Pretty please, just one song before we go.
Oh, it's fun.
Sure was. What a gas.
Oh,
Okay, looks like everybody's finally here. Fashionably late, as usual.
Glad you decided to join us, Pollock.
yeah, it wouldn't be the same without you, Daddy-O.
See you, Lee.
We should go now, if we want to view the show before they open the doors to the public.
Good. I may not stick around after that.
What a pity. Why not?
Well, I'll need a drink first then.
Pollock, you promised you wouldn't.
Just wanted to take the edge off, darling.
There's no just one with you, Pollock, and you know it.
Okay, already. Then leave me the fuck alone.
Where are you going? Jackson!
Fine.
You don't know that.
I hope he isn't going to spoil the night for the rest of us.
What's an opening without a little Pollock drama?
Okay, it's time. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, just let me finish my cocktail, yeah?
Come on, Bill. There's booze there. Tonight is the DeKooning's night. Okay, night to shine. And none of Pollock's usual antics are going to take that away from us.
There it is. The latest Pollock. What do you think, Bill?
I have to say I like the change in direction. That's one thing you can say about Pollock. He always surprises you. I tried painting in this restricted palette of black and white, and I must say I'm impressed. His black pores, they don't feel as if they have been splashed out like his earlier works, aka Jack the Dripper.
What do you think, Elaine? You weren't so enthralled at the last solo show, if I remember correctly.
What can I say? I prefer my husband's work to his. But this one, I sort of like. For one thing, I want gesture. Any kind of gesture. All kinds of gesture. Gentle or brutal. Joyous or tragic. The gesture of space. Soaring or sinking. Streaming or whirling. I see everything as possessing or possessed by gesture. That's why painting to me is primarily a verb, not a noun. An event first and only secondarily an image. And though I hate to admit it, Pollock is a master at it.
Why on earth did you ever give up being an art critic? I mean, you really have a flair for it. Well, I took a peek at your woman painting, Bill.
Oh,
Yeah, I imagine there could be a negative backlash with your use of recognizable figure, and some critics may consider it a regressive step backwards.
what are you talking about? Flesh is the reason oil paint was invented in the first place. Besides, there's nothing wrong with merging abstraction and representation. Art should not have to be a certain way.
But surely you're not saying that abstract expressionism can include figure drawing.
Can I just say how thrilling it is it all came together like it did tonight? A show for artists by artists, especially since art has been hijacked by non-artists lately. It's been taken over by bookkeeping. The whole thing is so corrupt.
Thanks for helping me dodge the press back there.
You realize how lucky you are to be famous, Mr. Pollock.
I don't feel lucky. I feel like a clam without a shell, and you can drop the mister.
When I was at Bennington College, I read in John Graham's book, System and Dialects of Art, that all human fame is 90% accident, 10% ability. Out of 100 talents born, only 1 achieves fame and recognition during their lifetime, and 9 sometime after their death, and 90 are lost, their names as well as their work.
As much as I wanted to make a living as a painter, I didn't ask for this.
Look around you, Pollock. How many great artists are on the way to remarkable achievements are ruthlessly destroyed by critics and dealers and the public, while mediocre and sensitive hacks who are merely by intrigue and their commercial sensibility have gained recognition and will go down in history with their inane creations.
Are you including me in the latter?
Certainly not. You're the exception to the rule.
It doesn't matter what the critics say. Abstract painting is abstract. It confronts you. There was a reviewer a while back who wrote that my pictures didn't have any beginning or any end. He didn't mean it as a compliment, but it was. Only he didn't know it.
I wonder where my picture is hanging. Have you seen it?
No, not that I'd recognize it from any of the others.
It's almost as big as yours.
Yeah, I got a big one.
You've greatly inspired me, Mr. Pollock. Jackson. I have even pledged an oath in homage to your grandeur, silly as that sounds.
No. No, I get it. I get you, Helen. Hell, what do you say we get out of here? We could take a ride to the Springs. I think it's a full moon tonight.
As enticing as that sounds, I think it serves me best to remain here, where I am sure Clem will make some good introductions tonight. After all, it is all about who you know.
Well, you know me.
I'm getting to know you.
So what do you think so far?
I'm not sure. Your wild side frightens me, yet excites me at the same time, just like your art. But if you want the truth,
Always.
you basically come off as a charming grump.
That ain't so bad. I imagine the two of us would have a pretty good time if we were ever to, you know.
I imagine we would.
Is that a yes?
I am conflicted and otherwise engaged, and so, by the way, are you.
Well, you don't have to answer now. There is something about you, Helen. You're not like the others. You remind me of myself.
Likewise. You give me permission to be free as myself. But you know what they say, opposites attract. Maybe that's why I'm with Clem. Besides, it wouldn't feel right doing that to Lee. She doesn't deserve it.
You're right. You're right. I can be such an ass sometimes.
I won't hold it against you.
And please don't mention it to Lee. You know, I wouldn't want to hurt her.
Don't worry, Pollock. I'll be discreet with your indiscretion.
There you are, Helen. What are you two conspiring about?
We are debating the pros and cons of fame.
Helen wants to be famous.
And Pollock doesn't.
Well, enjoy your anonymity while you can, my dear. Those lucky few who hit it big did not trust that freedom of indifference. They knew that they were relatively freer than ever before because of that indifference. But now they are subject to public scrutiny.
And all the shit that comes with it.
So, indifference equals freedom. Is that what you're saying?
Well, artists in obscurity are the only ones truly free to create. That's how it's always been for those who came before us.
Lee had a lot to do with your fame, Pollock.
That's right. And I couldn't have done it without her or Clem.
Where is Lee?
Search me. Her guess is as good as mine.
I am going to go find her.
I don't care if I make a sale tonight. I just want to make her.
She is one fine woman. Why don't you offer to paint her portrait? I would, but needless to say, I don't do figures.
That's a great idea. I'll ask her to sit for me.
We'll see how Elaine takes to that. Isn't she your primary model?
I'll have you know, I have many models.
Ah, here is Bill's painting. Woman. What do you think?
I think he's got some issues with women. Yet it is truly groundbreaking.
Oh, I don't know what to think. Is that supposed to be Elaine?
Well, yeah, her true inner self.
It's kind of a violent depiction of a woman, wouldn't you say? And degrading to women in general.
I don't know. I think it's brilliant. You can't argue he's at the top of his game.
No, you can't argue with that. But even though he might be more productive and planned and even admirable, I am much more drawn to Pollock's painting on raw canvas than I am to the DeKooning easel cuisine.
It's funny. I knew Bill when he was nobody. I'd been to his studio, so I knew about his work, but only a little handful of us knew about it, you know? Maybe there were 10 people total that knew about Willem DeKooning.
Oh, look, there's my picture. Wow.
How's it going over here, ladies?
We're just arriving at Helen's painting, which is hanging conspicuously near your husband's.
What is it? An abstract landscape?
It's more of an abstract climate. It's not nature per se, but more of a feeling. The landscape was in my arms as I did it, but I didn't realize what I was doing. I was trying to get at something, and I didn't know what until it was manifested.
Well, you certainly have a big canvas to show for it.
I was afraid they'd reject it since it's oversized.
The rest of us followed the rules and submitted smaller canvases. Besides Pollock, of course.
Go against the rules or ignore the rules. That's what invention is all about. I just hope people don't think it looks like a large paint rag, casually accidental and incomplete.
You said it. I only thought it.
I didn't mind the size restriction. I think every once in a while, I feel the need to break my medium. If I've been doing a very large painting, I'd like to drop into something small scale. It's a challenge to go into that stuff.
For me, a really good picture looks as if it's happened all at once. When it looks labored and overworked, and you can read in it that she did this and then she did that, it is not beautiful art to me. It has to look as if it were born in the stroke of a minute.
Well, I like it, Helen.
Thank you, Lee. That means a lot coming from a first-generation painter like you. You know, Clem said, a few of the first-generation men don't think I should be included to show at all. They think I haven't paid my dues long enough, and he agrees with them. But I say, screw it, it's time for us women to take our rightful place beside the men instead of behind them.
Tonight,
Looks to be an auspicious opening.
That's just the smell of cheap tobacco.
Still sober?
Yeah, but I don't know for how long. Then when he comes up and asks for my autograph, I don't know what I'll fucking do.
Will you give it to them?
Hell no. They want an autograph, they can buy one of my paintings that it's scrawled on. Fuck! Who am I kidding? There's no way I can handle tonight without at least one drink in me. Where's the bar, Bill?
There's my drink, buddy. I missed you, Daddy-O.
He promised. Are you sure?
Yeah, he just went to the bar with Bill.
Why does it have to be tonight of all nights? Will you keep an eye on him for me?
I don't
I'm afraid if I say anything, he'll fly into a rage again.
want to be a babysitter. He's a grown man.
Alcoholic, Clem.
So you think your show will make much of a splash?
Who knows? There are some who believe it could shift the modern art scene from Paris to where it belongs. Here in New York, the greatest city in the world.
Yeah, I don't see why the problems of modern painting can't be solved here as well as elsewhere. It's about the present and the past.
Exactly. The past does not influence me. I influence it. Every so often, the painter has to destroy painting. Cézanne did it. Then Picasso did it. He was the man to be.
Picasso was a has-been.
Then you did it, Pollock. You annihilated the whole idea of painting completely. Only then there could be new paintings again. And you did it again tonight with your simple black pour. I tried black and white. It's not as easy as it looks.
I've had a period of drawing on canvas in black with some of my early images coming through. But I think the non-objectivists will find them disturbing, and the kids who think it's simple to splash a Pollock out will be disappointed.
Who cares? You're the original Daddy-O. You broke the ice for the rest of us.
I can't watch this train wreck any longer. Please say something to him, Clem. For me.
Are you sure you want to drink that, Pollock?
Did Lee send you over? Because if she did, Clem, you can fuck right off.
I think this night might take an unexpected turn.
Or more likely it was expected to, be sure. Desired almost. They all want to see the greatest American painter lose it and go berserk like his art. I'm afraid the critics are going to roast him for abandoning his own style, but what to do? The attitude that nature is chaotic and the artist puts order into it, such an absurd point of view, I think. All that we can hope for is to put some order into ourselves.
Is everything okay?
We'll see.
Have I told you how lovely you look in that gown, Miss Frankenthaler?
Yes, numerous times, Mr. DeKooning.
Well, one can't praise it enough. It shows off your curves. And as an artist, I enjoy the comfortable curvature of the female form.
I guess that's what I'm going for in a dress like this.
Would you like to sit for me sometime for my woman series?
I'm sorry, I don't model.
Well, you could. You certainly are beautiful enough.
Let's freshen up your drink, shall we?
Thank you, Clem. Excuse me.
Pollock? Pollock, what the hell are you doing?
I'm living it up. It's what we're here for, isn't it?
You're drunk.
And you're a fucking nag.
Come on. Please, Jackson, let's just go home.
Why? You wanted me to come. The party hasn't even started yet.
Do you really want people to see you like this?
I don't give a rat's ass what they see. They have no taste anyway. Clem, old buddy. How's that little honey treating you? Does she make you feel young again, you old coot?
How about a cup of coffee, old boy? What do you say?
I don't want any fucking coffee. Why don't you just both leave me the fuck alone? Bill, old buddy. Have another drink with me. What do you say?
I'd say it looks you've had enough, Daddy-O.
I'm saying I can't hold my liquor.
I'm saying you might want to slow down. The night's still young.
Talking.
I have an idea. Let's all go to the Cedar Tavern, right? For the after party, for the show. What do you say, Pollock?
I'm gonna miss the festivities. I want to see who shows up to this thing. Does anybody even get what we're fucking here? Because I sure don't. Okay, I don't have a fucking clue. Why should it make any more sense to anyone else why we're here?
We have to do something about him, Lee. We have to open the doors soon.
Alcoholism is a disease. I can't save him. I've tried.
I'm sorry. I know it's hard. Look at Bill. He's just as bad. But can you blame them? I mean, artists become alcoholics without realizing it, with all the free booze and these openings. Most of us are hungover every day. It seems everyone has blackouts and repeats themselves and gets so smashed they're staggering around, blurting out bad jokes like they're stand-up comics.
I'm terrified he's going to make another spectacle of himself.
Don't worry about it, Lee. Most of us won't remember how the evening goes.
Give me back my bottle, Bill.
Let me just hold on to it for you, Daddy-O.
Don't make me take it from you, Bill. Give it to me, Bill.
Pollock! I'm doing this for your own good.
Give it to me. Don't make me fucking hurt you.
I just came from outside. It is mayhem out there.
Yeah, it's mayhem in here too.
There are dozens of cabs and limousines. It's like a Hollywood premiere.
Are you kidding me? People actually came to this thing?
Not just people, mobs of people, all waiting to get in.
Then we should let them in.
No, wait. We have to do something about him first.
Come on, Pollock, let's get out of here.
Miss your big opening? I think so. I'd never hear the end of it. No. I'm staying here with you where I belong. Who am I fucking kidding? We all know I don't belong here. Now somebody get me another bottle of bourbon before I throw this one through the fucking window.
Come on, Daddy-O. Let's fix you another drink.
Bill!
What else can we do, Lee? Let's just hope he passes out soon.
First, I gotta take a fucking leak.
Me too. This way, Daddy-O.
Oh, you're a good friend, Bill. You know that. You're a good friend, not like the rest of these jokers.
This is why I don't want to have kids with him. He's just a big troubled kid himself, who's more than a handful. Bring another child into this dysfunctional marriage.
Just keep creating art. Keep creating. That's why you were born for. Not raising children. Let other women do that. You create life through painting. Now, I know you might not be able to hear this right now, Lee. I believe that one day you will be recognized as one of the greats. No, not as Mrs. Jackson Pollock, but as Lee Krasner. You hear me?
Thank you, Clem. You know, I've always believed it's my destiny to create, to break through and to continue the upliftment of society in some way. But when I fell in love with Jackson, my energy went towards him to uplift him, to become who he is today. It doesn't matter. The end result is the same. Jackson and I have built a wonderful life together out in the Springs. But it won't last much longer if he chooses the bottle over me. Like you say, I have my own career and I won't let him or anyone stop me from painting. It's my life's blood.
You deserve to be happy, Lee. Everyone does.
Pollock doesn't know how to be happy. Not without a drink or a brush in his hand. I should leave him, Clem. I shouldn't have to put up with this childish bullshit.
Can't help themselves.
I know. That's the hardest part. I don't know if I ever told you, but he was diagnosed with manic depression.
I didn't know. That sure explains a lot.
The alcohol just exacerbates it. Damn you, Pollock! You're killing me, man.
How did this happen? You were only gone for a moment.
Some fellow picked a fight with Pollock in the man's lavatory just to give himself something to brag about to his pals and the missus.
Did any press see any photographs taken?
I don't think so, unless they were hiding behind the toilet partition.
For God's sakes, Pollock, what is it about you and fistfights?
A man's honor was at stake, and that man was me.
There's not much honor in getting your ass whomped.
Yeah, Lee, well, you should see the other guy.
Will you stop acting like a child for once? I can't take it anymore.
I'm sorry. Lee.
I don't want to hear it, okay? I'm sick and tired of your bullshit. You're impossible. I should just leave you to take care of yourself because I can't take it anymore, Pollock. I'm done. Do you hear me? Done.
Sorry, babe. You're right, okay? I'm wrong, baby. I'm wrong, and you're right. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. Baby, don't leave me.
It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. I promise. Shh. Come on. Let's get you cleaned up. Come on.
I must admit, I find you very attractive, Helen. I have since the first day we met.
I'm sorry, I can't.
It's okay. Elaine won't mind. We have an arrangement.
I know she told me, but I mind. Plus, I'm currently seeing Clem, and I know he'd mind. So it's probably best that you mind your manners, Bill.
Leave him. Marry me.
But you're already married.
It doesn't matter. Elaine and I both need a wife.
You're impossible.
I'm in love.
Infatuated.
I can help develop your talents, Helen.
Oh, really?
I would be happy to teach you the business of art, which is not to portray life or nature or their aspects. There are other mediums that do it better, like photography, but it is using nature as a point of departure to draw pertinent conclusions, create new values, which will eventually enlighten people on the subject of pure truth.
That's exactly what I'm going for. I want to transform life, to imbue it with beauty and force and glory in such a way that the viewer will feel the world as beautiful and forceful and glorious.
I know! You're a genius, Helen.
Oh, I bet you say that to all the young female artists.
Only the ones who deserve it. You truly are a talent to behold.
I wish Clem could see that.
Fuck Clem. He doesn't deserve to be with a woman like you.
That is what my analyst tells me. Do you really mean it? Or is this just your way to get me into bed?
Sleep with me, and you will find out.
Oh! I saw your woman painting. It's hanging near mine.
Yes. What do you think?
I don't know. Disturbing. Degrading to women. One can even perceive it as an aggressive and a violent depiction of a woman.
What? Come on. You cannot be serious.
Mm.
You cannot blame me for what you see. I am just the artist. I take no credit for the creation. It happens by itself, controlled by destiny. It is what you do when you paint. You take a brush full of paint, get paint on the picture, and you have fate. You cannot control it, just like I cannot control my feelings for you.
Did you hear? Leo just came back from the Cedar Tavern where he was with Alfred Barr, from MoMA.
Of course.
And Leo listed everyone who was in the show, and Alfred told him he's interested in hanging all of our pictures in the Museum of Modern Art alongside the European masters.
Oh, that is utterly fantabulous, Elaine.
Well done, Leo.
This is it. This is big.
I'm going to find Clement.
What were you two talking about?
Nothing, dear.
You weren't making advances on Helen just now.
Are you really just asking me that? What happened to our don't ask, don't tell agreement?
I'm asking. Was there something going on between you two?
Don't tell me that you are jealous. This is so unlike you, Elaine.
You know I'm not the jealous type, but I would like to avoid an awkward situation with someone I consider a new friend. Do you understand, darling?
Of course, dear.
So, did you?
Well, if you must know, I did make a pass. But she turned me down flat.
You scoundrel.
I seem to have lost my charm. I feel like an old fool.
You deserve it. You broke your word.
I'm sorry. You're right. You told me she is off limits, and I did not listen.
Typical of a man of your generation.
I don't mean to be a scoundrel, especially when it comes to you, Elaine, who I hold so dear. But sometimes I just cannot help myself.
Yes, and it's unforgivable.
Big news.
No other woman would put up with your shenanigans, and you know that.
My shenanigans? What about you? You're the one who benefits greatly from this open marriage.
Well, maybe I'm tired of it. Maybe I'd like to settle down in the Hamptons and pop out a few kids. You ever thought about that?
No. I thought you didn't want to have children. You know, I want kids.
That was just an overreaction last year after the miscarriage. Of course, I want kids. I just don't want to go through the pain of the loss and the disappointment again.
Well, if it means the pitter-patter of little feet, I'm open to closing this open marriage and being an exclusive couple again.
Well, let's start by attending tonight's opening as a couple, like Bogey and Bacall. Can we do that, please?
Of course, dear. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Good. Now, let's get ourselves another cocktail and celebrate tonight's good news.
That we're going to finally start a family together.
No, darling. That we're going to hang in the MoMA together.
So, what's the big news?
So, from what I understand, Alfred Barr is going to curate pieces of this show at the Museum of Modern Art. Can you believe it?
That is astounding. If it is in fact true,
Do you think he'll choose mine?
who can say, really? It's quite a large canvas. I mean, it may come down to just a question of wall space.
Pollock works on oversized, unprimed canvases just like I do.
You are not Jackson Pollock.
Oh, I know. I am Helen Frankenthaler.
Who is fortunate enough to follow in his footsteps due to your close proximity to him that I have generously provided.
Let me make something perfectly clear, Clement Greenberg. I am not interested in following in anyone's footsteps, especially not a man's. I am breaking ground and creating a brand new style that only I can paint. So I shouldn't be penalized for size because I feel freer with a larger canvas.
You sound more like him every day. Are you in love with him?
With Pollock the artist, maybe, but not the man. Why would you even ask me that?
Are you in love with me?
I thought I was. But now I'm beginning to wonder. The man I love would never question my love or ever be jealous. He would be secure within his own skin and know his own power.
Do you know how powerful I am?
And yet, not only do you not use your power to influence people in a way that's beneficial to me, you're abusive and demeaning to me in your comments.
Are you acting this way?
You made me this way. You taught me to stand up for myself as an artist and as a woman.
Regrettably so.
You know, maybe I'll attend this opening on my own. I don't want there to seem like there's any favoritism going on between us.
Here, take him this way, out the back door, to avoid the press. No sense in creating more headaches for you.
Thanks. I owe you one.
Where are we going?
We're going for a ride, Daddy-o.
And I'll make sure your picture is chosen by Alfred Barr, along with mine, so we can both be hanging in the moment together.
How?
Don't worry, I have my ways.
Thank you, Elaine.
Hey, us gals need to stick together, right? I'm sorry if I haven't always been a good friend.
It's okay. I understand. I understand what loyalty to you.
But at the expense of all else. I hate to always be known as Mrs. DeKooning or Willem's wife. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I can relate.
So, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm around.
Thanks. Likewise. I think we have a lot more in common than we realize.
Yeah. We're more powerful as friends than enemies.
He's passed out in the back seat.
Thank God. I think we dodged a bullet.
Thank you both.
Good luck.
Crowd is getting restless out front.
Yes, and Harold Rosenberg is not happy that he remains outside.
Okay, then let's get him in. I'll go tell Leo we can open the doors finally.
And I need to use the lavatory again.
And clean yourself up while you're in there, Bill. You look like a disheveled frat boy.
Helen, I'm sorry, Helen, okay? I'm sorry. I was rude to you. I can't help it. I'm a self-hating Jew. Okay. But I promise you, I will try to be more patient in the future.
And supportive of my work.
Okay. Yes, I do appreciate you, Helen. I may even go so far as to say that I love you.
And I love you, Clem. I knew we were meant together the minute you showed up at Bennington. Hey, you could say it was love at first sight.
Mm-hmm. And I will try to be more supportive of you. In fact, despite any favoritism, I do believe your painting to be one of the best in the show, especially for a woman.
Thank you, Clem. And I am grateful for everything you've done for me.
The doors are officially open.
Look at how many people showed up. Well done, darling.
I really didn't think we could pull it off, Bill. I mean, it's a department storefront, for God's sakes. Who do we think we are?
That is how it is when you break the mold to create something new. Look at them. They're voracious. They've never seen anything like it.
Art can be as expressionistic for the viewer as it is for the artist.
In fact, any style of painting, to be painting at all, is a way of living, a lifestyle.
I sometimes wonder if our lifestyle of the starving artist is because comfort is death to an artist. It seems we have to constantly live on edge to break through to the next level, whatever it is.
And whatever it takes. Sometimes I find myself having become desperate. Very seldom do I start out that way. I can see, of course, that in the abstract, thinking and all activity is rather desperate.
I know. This thing inside me, it drives me like nothing else. Except for maybe my love for you.
I'm glad I'm going home with you tonight, my dear.
Me too, darling. Shall we mingle in the meantime, Mr. DeKooning?
Oh, I don't see why not, Mrs. DeKooning. These worries are necessary evil. An artist is forced by others to paint out of his own free will. He can't help it.
That's because reality is conspicuous consumption. All of this, in short, is the reality that someone else made for us. But as artists, we can create a new reality of our own making. Oh, look, there's Harold Rosenberg. Let's see what he thinks of your woman painting.
Do we have to? I do not know why his opinion should matter so. I just make pictures and someone else comes in and calls it art. Yet let no man undervalue the implications of this work or its power for life or death if it is misused.
Don't worry about it, darling. Artists are like cockroaches. Stamped out. and who knows? Maybe one day our art could be worth millions. I know, it sounds crazy, but it could happen.